So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. And in today's video, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. The past 365 days in Clipperland has been a very interesting time period, to say the least. Now, last season ended up winning 51 games, took home the 4 seed in a very good Western Conference, and then lost the eventual Western Conference champion Dallas Mavericks in round 1 in 6 games. Now, let's get to the offseason for this team, because if I were to hand out grades for all 30 NBA teams based upon how they did this offseason, I think the Clippers would be damn near at the bottom of the list. This is a shit show, for lack of a better term. They decided not to give Paul George the 4th year of guaranteed money, which eventually led to his departure. He is now a member of the Philadelphia 76ers. They did end up bringing back some of their own guys. They re-signed Zubats. They obviously extended James Harden, but this is a team that has been all in for quite some time now. This is a franchise that is opening a new arena, redesigned their uniforms, new logo, all that fun stuff. Yes, Steve Ballmer, billions and billions of dollars. I understand that. But this is also a team that does not control their own draft pick until 2030. And now they are stuck basically in the middle, if not the lower end of the Western Conference. And it is going to be a very, very dangerous year to be a Los Angeles Clipper. I would say I'm going to try to bring in a shovel and try to dig them out of the situation that they have currently put themselves in, but I feel like I need a backhoe. I feel like I need a grade 1 construction crew to figure out the absolute disaster that this franchise is and has been for a little while now. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the way the Clippers have gone about the past year or two, but they have found themselves in this position, and it is my job to make it better and hopefully bring this team and this franchise a championship. So here goes nothing, man. Let's get into it. Now, I do not want you to be under the impression that I think the Clippers are truly one of the worst teams in the league, because that is just not the case. But that being said, they are not in a good position right now. They did basically one of the worst things a franchise can do. They did not fully commit to going all in. They pushed about 80-85% of their chips into the middle of the table, and then they're stuck left with 15%. They didn't even win the damn pot. So we're in a position right now that is ultimately not a very fun one. Let's go ahead and talk about this roster. Of course, they did make some offseason additions, few moves that I actually did not mind, but let's just start out here at the point guard spot. Of course, bringing back James Harden, ended up, bringing him back 1 year. I think the second year is a player option. He's 35 years old, of course, not the MVP candidate he once was, but still a very serviceable player. And if this team wants legitimately any chance of doing something in the West, he has to probably turn the clock back a few years and get back to that version of James Harden that can give you 25 points a game. I don't know if it's still in there, but it's going to have to be if this team wants a chance. Kevin Porter Jr., I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think he's an absolute piece of shit. I'm not going to pretend that he's not. So, yeah, he's not really going to be a big part of this rebuild. You got Bones Hyland. I actually think Bones Hyland could be a pretty big contributor in this video. He actually ends up developing quite nicely. So if he can get up to, high 70s, maybe even low 80s, he definitely could be an impactful player. The shooting guard spot. Norman Powell's 31, probably not a 3-year answer at that shooting guard spot. Could eventually maybe come off the role or the bench in a, kind of role player capacity. I mean, that is what he is, but I don't really have high hopes for a guy who's, 30 plus years old. Terrence Mann, another guy that I think could be a relatively nice, impactful piece. I'm not saying he's going to be a star or anything like that, but at 28 years old, we kind of know what Terrence Mann is. I actually didn't hate the Chris Dunn signing. I think he provides them some defense in the backcourt that definitely could use it. So he's 30, 2-year deal, probably not going to be anything too special. We will see. They did draft Cam Christie in the second round this past year, obviously the brother of Max Christie. Excuse me, I'm all over the fucking place right now. But 6'6" out of Minnesota, 68 overall. We'll see. The small forward spot no longer is, held by Paul George. It is Derrick Jones Jr. Of course, Derrick Jones Jr. was in that starting lineup for the Dallas Mavericks last year, the team that won the Western Conference. And I do actually like this signing. I like the contract. I like basically the value in terms of what they're getting here. So excited to see what Derrick Jones Jr. can do here. Amir Coffey, 27, 73 overall, probably not much. And then let's talk about it, because Kawhi Leonard is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. There is absolutely no doubt about it. He is one of the premier players of this past generation, and he is, really at the point in his career that if he can stay healthy, he's still really good. He's not maybe what he once was, but he's still a really good player when healthy. That when is holding a lot of weight in that sentence, though, because it is not often. I know Kawhi Leonard had a great season last year, played a whole lot of games, and then, of course, it's just at the point right now where that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, he'll end up playing like 15 straight games, then he'll miss the next 10. Like, it sucks. It's shitty. Nobody likes injuries. I love watching Kawhi play because he's still a very, very good player. It's just unfortunate. But here in 2K, no injuries on, nothing like that. We will have him for likely the entire video. They ended up bringing back Nicholas Batum on a one-year deal. I actually like this addition quite a bit. You got Kobe Brown here at the third string backup power forward, and then we moved to the center spot. They obviously extended Ivica Zubac, who is 27 years old, is certainly a serviceable, solid center. I think he's actually the third highest overall in this team. Brought in Mo Bamba on a one-year deal, and then Kai Jones is here as well. So that's the team. That's what we're working with right now. Of course, it is not, as good as they once were. We all remember back in that 2019 offseason, they went ahead and made the big swing and ended up bringing in both Kawhi and Paul George. At the beginning of last season, made the trade for James Harden. I mean, this was at one point the title favorites in all of basketball, and injuries and things just going wrong did not work out. So we have some decisions to make before we kick off year one here. First trade of today's video is going to be a deal with the Memphis Grizzlies. We are sending out Amir Coffey and Kevin Porter Jr. I'm still not really a big fan of Kevin Porter Jr. being on an NBA team, but it's certainly not going to be mine in this rebuild. Sending them both to Memphis for Vince Williams Jr. in a 2026 first-round pick. This is kind of a kills two birds with one stone situation. We get a really nice, impactful, probably backup small forward, and then we're also going to get some draft capital, which is, of course, something we are desperately lacking right now. So welcome to the team, Vince. Excited to have you here. Year one in LA, ready to go. We end up only really making one trade. I considered a few other offers, but ultimately they all pretty much required me giving up draft picks, which is certainly something I'm not in the business of doing at this time. James Harden, Norman Powell, Derek Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac 1 through 5. Probably not any major surprises in there. Vince Williams Jr. will be my sixth man off the bench. You got Terrence Mann in here, Nicholas Batum, Bones Highland, and Mo Bamba rounding it out. Now, unfortunately, Chris Dunn's just not going to play. Certainly will get some minutes in real life. There's no doubt about that. But here in 2K, 10-man rotation, no injuries on. There's not really a spot for him. So, yeah, that's the team. Of course, led at the helm by Mr. Tyronn Lue, who, in my opinion, is probably a top 5, 6, 7 coach in all of basketball. So I guess that is one of the positives. There are not a lot of them, but that is one of the positives that we have working for us right now. So, yep, that's the team. Not really sure what I should be expecting. I highly doubt it is going to be a great season. I will see you guys at the end of it. 48-34 is how the first season ends. I'll take it. I can certainly work with it, and considering we don't play with injuries on or anything like that, it's probably a little unrealistic, but you know what? 48 wins, given the cast of characters we have, is a success in my opinion. Now, Luka Doncic is your MVP, Reeves, Shea, Amen, Thompson, Wembanyama, also Thompson, Jaylen Brown, Jason Kidd. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the standings real quick. We end up as the 5 seed here. We're going to have, wow, two teams that are probably a little uncertain heading into the 24-25 campaign. But us and the Golden State Warriors here going to be dancing in round 1 of the Western Conference playoffs. Let's take a look at the numbers all across the board. Kawhi Leonard, pretty good season out of him. Of course, playing 82 games in this, unrealistic scenario. About 25 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists. He was 54% from the field. He shot about 43% from 3. So really strong season out of Kawhi. Of course, James Harden, not, 25 points a game or anything like that. But you know what? 15.5, about 11 assists. So doing his playmaking. Norman Powell, Ivica Zubac, Bones Highland, Derek Jones Jr., Vince Williams Jr., Mann, Bamba, and then Batum. Rebounds per game led by Zubac, and assists was James Harden. So, us in the Golden State Warriors here in round 1. You got Steph Curry, Buddy Hield, Andrew Wiggins, Kuminga, TJD. You got Robert Williams now here, Pajemski, DeAnthony Melton. Obviously, Steph is still absolutely insane, but they are not nearly as talented as they once were. That being said, we just got swept in round 1. Okay. Disappointing end to, I guess, what was probably a little... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This... 31... That's just... that's bad. Okay, we are going to go ahead and sim through the rest of the playoffs. It is New York versus Dallas here in the finals. New York gets it done. Jalen Brunson, your finals MVP. Okay, it is time for the offseason. Any Clippers calling it a career that could potentially impact how we move forward? Does not really appear to be so. Hall of Fame inductees LeBron, CP3, and Russ. Jersey retirements, draft lottery. We are not going to have a pick in probably any of the lotteries heading into this video, but we'll sim through it nonetheless. It is the Rockets via the Brooklyn Nets, the Jazz, Raptors, Magic, surprised they were bad, and then the Wizards. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm a fan of Ty Lue. He is going to be staying on as my head coach. The ratings are there, and he's a very quality coach, so yes, he's going to be the guy leading the charge moving forward in this rebuild. Okay, as we move up to the 2025 NBA draft, we do have the 28th overall pick. Also, I'd like it on record. We did trade for this pick. We should not have this. I will read it to you off of Fanspo right now for what it says for the Clippers 2027 first-round pick. OKC has the right to swap its 2027 first-round pick, or if can fade to OKC, Denver's 2027 first-round pick, which would be protected, for selections 1 through 5. Basically, in 2027, if our pick sucks, it's going to go to the Clipper or to the Thunder, and if their pick is good, we'll probably get it. You understand the point. They have it right here in 2029. Okay, so we have the 28th overall pick. Honestly, I'm going to use it. Sometimes I would just trade this away for future assets, but maybe there's an I've drafted Rocky Zakarsky before, and we are certainly potentially in the market for a backup center because Mo Bamba is now a free agent. Rocky Zakarsky, welcome to the team. 7'3" out of Australia. He's going to come in at a 73 overall. Harden ends up declining. Batum ends up accepting Kobe Brown. I guess why the hell not? We'll bring him back. So here's my question. Do we have any money to play with? Because part of me says maybe we really don't, actually. That is a surprise. James Harden does not have any real offers. Bones Highland also here. He is a restricted free agent. Who is taking up a lot of our cap space right now? I mean, obviously Kawhi. I guess we have another couple contracts out there. That actually makes some sense. So before we probably re-sign James Harden, I'm going to make a trade. Pulling off a pretty big deal here with the New York Knicks, sending out Norman Powell, Nicholas Batum, and Derrick Jones Jr., who I kind of wanted to hang on to, but ultimately decided it was worth it to include him to land ourselves OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson. Now, OG Anunoby does not put up crazy numbers here in 2K. Hell, he's coming off a season where he only put up 11 a game. But if he can get back up to like 16, 17 points a game, I can certainly live with that. And of course, adding him next to Kawhi Leonard would probably be one of the better defensive wing duos in all of basketball. And the Mitchell Robinson will be expiring after this season, but he is a nice center option. Good depth piece for us here, with Zubats and Zakarsky as well. So that is one trade down. I think there is maybe still one more I want to do, but OG Anunoby is obviously a very welcome addition to this team. Okay, we just pulled off a deal with the Miami Heat and we landed ourselves Tyler Hero. Now, I'm not the biggest Tyler Hero fan in the world, but he is a clear-cut upgrade at this shooting guard spot, and we definitely need a little bit more offensive consistency with this starting five. So Chris Dunn, Terrence Mann, Kobe Brown, Cam Christie, and a 2026 first-round pick via the Grizzlies. We got that in the Vince Williams deal, and that landed us Tyler Hero. So at this point, I am going to bring back James Harden. Ultimately, I don't really feel like he's going to, be anything super special, but he is definitely needed. I also want to get Bones Highland back, so I have to make sure I do that. But Harden probably has 1 year left here. I know there's going to be some regression coming, but I'm not just going to sign a guy and then immediately trade him. That feels a little cheesy. So welcome back to the team, Harden. It's going to be Harden and Highland. You got Hero, OG Anunoby, Vince Williams Jr., Kawhi, and then Robinson. I'm actually going to let Zakarsky sit for a year, so I need to sign a backup 4 and a backup 2. So like Gary Trent Jr., honestly not the worst option in the world. Who are my 4 options? Those aren't as good, so would I prefer Trent Jr. or Kispert? I feel like Kispert may be a little bit low-key. Isaiah Joe also here. He's a really strong, but I get Isaiah Joe a decent amount. I weirdly feel like Gary Trent Jr. sometimes regresses, which is a little strange. I'm going to throw some money here at Corey Kispert. I don't know if that's the smartest deal in the world. I'm not going to tell you if really matters one way or the other, but it's fine. It is what it is. And then Chetty, oh, God. Yeah, these are not great options for me at the backup 4, so I guess Javonte Green will do for 1 year. I'll see you guys at the start of year 2. To nobody's surprise, we are seeing a little bit of regression here with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. It is unfortunate, but it is not unexpected. So here's how the team's going to look. This backcourt defensively scares the shit out of me with Harden and Hero, but obviously we make up for it a little bit with OG Anunoby and Kawhi Leonard. Center spot still going to be led by Ivica Zubac. Bench unit has improved. I can confidently say that. Corey Kispert taking over as our 6th man. We brought in Mitchell Robinson, Vince Williams Jr., Bones Highland, and yeah, that's tough, but it's 10 minutes a night. So yeah, that's the team. I don't know if I expect us to be better than last year. I think we'll probably be right around the same spot, 4 or 5 seed here in the West, hopefully. Anyways, and I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. Luka wins another MVP, but we also go 56 and 26, which actually I'll take. Maybe we're a true contender here in the West. Cooper Flagg, member of the Utah Jazz, he's your rookie of the year. Anthony Simons, your 6th man. Wemby wins another DPOY. Thompson, most improved. Jalen Green taking over for Tyler Hero at the starting shooting guard there in Miami, shooting guard spot there in Miami. Clutch player of the year. Don't see that often. And Steve Kerr still hitting that same pose ever since like 2K20 or 2K15. He is your coach of the year. Okay, standings time. We are actually 4 seed here. 56 wins. It is a very tight Western Conference race. And here's a look at the East. Okay, let's talk about the numbers a little bit. How did everybody play? It was Tyler Hero actually leading us in scoring. Fine by me. Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Corey Kispert, OG Anunoby. Thought his scoring would go up. It did not. Highland, Zubac, Vince Williams Jr., Robinson, and then Green. Rebounds per game led by Zubac. Assist was Harden. Okay. Denver is not my favorite first-round matchup. Trae Young is now here instead of Jamal Murray for whatever reason. You got Melton, Porter Jr., Gordon, Jokic. Probably going to be a loss if I had to take a guess. Okay. Quickly go down 2-1. We do tie it at 2-2. Go up 3-2. And we actually win 4 straight after dropping the first 2 on our home floor. All right, we now move on to the team that beat us last year. The Golden State Warriors taking home the 1 seed this year. Still got Steph, Pajemski, Wiggins, Kuminga, TJD. Now have Jalen Suggs off the bench. Still got Rob Will as well. Okay, I'm a little nervous. Split the first 2 in Golden State, lose game 3 at home, tie it up at 2-2, go down 3-2, force game 7, lose game 7. God damn it. All right, it is a step in the right direction. I will take it. Warriors end up winning it all, and Steph Curry, if he wasn't already the greatest point guard of all time, he certainly would be now after leading that cast of characters to a championship. Okay, player retirements here. Oh, shit. I had a feeling that could happen. That sucks, but I'm not going to let it happen. Yep, I'm sorry. You can call me a scumbag, you can call me a loser, whatever the hell you want to call me. If I let James Harden retire right now, I'm already in salary cap hell. It's not going to actually give me that money. And if I do let him retire, I'm basically this video where there's never going to be a shot at a championship. So I understand it's not a great thing to do. It is an unrealistic rebuild at the end of the day, but sorry, sue me. All right, here is to take a look at the draft lottery. It is the Thunder. Oh, good. They just need more draft picks. Winning the lottery, we're obviously hanging on to Mr. Ty Lue as he is an elite head coach. And we will now head up to the 2026 draft where I'm not really sure what we're working with in the pick department. That would be the 28th overall pick in round 2. I will actually, no, nothing. No. Okay. Well, screw it. Let's just see who has a cool name. We'll draft whoever has the coolest name here. Juwan Hayward. Actually, a C-. I'll actually probably draft him just because if you see by scouting, he's actually the only C-. So, sure, Juwan Hayward, welcome to the team. Out of Jacksonville State. Okay, he's going to end up being a 68 overall. All right, we are going to work on some things right now, and I'll see you guys with some trades. I'm not a huge fan of it because I think it is a little cheesy, and yeah, we're just going to do it. Because here's my thought process on this. I overrode his retirement strictly for the purpose of trading him, which is something I rarely ever do. I don't like it. But, that being said, if I didn't trade him now, it was going to be last offseason as soon as I re-signed him. So, kind of didn't really matter when it happened because it was going to happen either way. That's just my thought process. Nonetheless, we're making this deal. James Harden, Rocky Zakarsky, both going to be shipped to the Memphis Grizzlies. When we drafted Zakarsky, it felt like we got a little bit of a steal at the end of the first round, but ultimately when we made the trade that landed us Mitchell Robinson, we're kind of all set with the 2 centers that we do have. So Desmond Bane going to come in and obviously be a nice upgrade here, whether he's playing the 2 next to Tyler Hero, whether he's playing the 3, whatever it is going to be, we will sort it out. After moving on from James Harden, we are now in the market for a new starting point guard. Jamal Murray would obviously provide that. Look, OG Anunoby was a nice player and still is, but ultimately we paid a trade that landed us Desmond Bane. Tyler Hero is fantastic. OG Anunoby averaged only 10 points a game. We need to make an upgrade. They want Caleb Martin for a 2027 first. Is there any way I can actually do this with, like, Hayward? No. All right, that's fine. I think I think Martin would have been a nice, backup power forward option, but it is what it is. It lands us my new starting point guard. So I'm probably going to play Desmond Bane at the 3, which maybe works out, maybe doesn't, but it just is what it is. We're working with what we got. So let's take over there. Starting 5 hypothetically could be complete. We also do need to re-sign Mitchell Robinson, which is something I desperately need to do. So let's pay him 4 years, about $80 million total. Cool with me. All right, let's take a look at the state of the team and what we have right now. We're good at the point guard spot. We're good at the shooting guard spot. Good at small forward. We basically just need a backup power forward, so let's see what we can do. I believe if memory serves me correctly, Simone Fontecchio actually stays the same at a 77 overall if you move him to the power forward spot. I hope my memory is not playing tricks on itself because that would really suck. He actually goes down 2. Okay, that's not the end of the world. It's probably still better than the other options we had at the at the backup 4. So, yeah, this is what we're working with heading into the 3rd and final regular season. I'm honestly not really sure how I feel about this team heading into the final regular season. I feel like without a doubt this is the best shot we've had at a championship, which is of course always one of the biggest goals here in these rebuilds, but another part of me says there's not a damn chance. So, let's find out who's right. Jamal Murray, Tyler Hero, Desmond Bane, Kawhi Leonard, Ivica Zubac. Kawhi Leonard obviously down to an 86. Disappointing, not really surprising. I did consider a few different trade offers, but I feel like every time I do a Clippers rebuild, I trade Kawhi. So let's hang on to him today. Corey Kispert remains my 6th man. Obviously, we brought back Mitchell Robinson, Bone Tylen, Vince Williams Jr., Simone Fontecchio. So, I mean, I think the one good thing this team has going for us is we just have a lot of really quality depth. I mean, it's not often I have 2 or 3 80-plus overalls coming off the bench, so I am happy about that. I am still nervous given the star power we have, so I guess we will find out together. I'll see you guys at the end of the final regular season. Luka now wearing a Miami Heat uniform. Still winning MVPs, though. In other news, this was a shocking season because we go 68-14. I didn't think this was a 68-win team, but I will take it. Cameron Boozer, Rookie of the Year. Josh Giddey, your 6th man. Wemby wins DPOY. Nolan Traore, Most Improved. Devin Booker, Clutch Player of the Year. And our guy, Mr. Ty Lue, taking home Coach of the Year. Okay, I mean, I feel good, obviously. There's no way to not feel good about a 68-win season, but part of me is wondering when that other shoe is going to drop, right? Like, what is the catch with this team winning so many games? Because it's impressive. There's no way to spin it to make it not impressive, but I don't know. There's just something inside me that's like, hey, I'm still nervous we could lose like round one. But here's a look at the Houston Rockets. They are obviously on the come up and have been for some time now. They are a talented group. We split the first two at home, win game 3 on the road and game 4, and we end up closing them out in 5. Now we move on to the Warriors, who have beat us 2 straight years. They won the championship last year. This team may not look, super threatening on paper, but they are not an easy matchup. Let me tell you that. So we quickly do go up 2-0. Maybe they are an easy matchup. Okay. Now moving on to the West Finals. We are running into one of 2K's babies here today. That is the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have a lot of talent. They are very good defensively, and I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't nervous. But really good start. They do win game 3. We win game 4, and we're in the finals. We were in the finals, and we were taking on Luka Doncic and the Miami Heat. You got him, Jaime Jaquez, Cam Christie, Koa Pete. Still got Bam. All right, I can work with this. I'm not super pumped about it, but I can live with it. Oh my God. Wow. There are some rebuilds I go into that I kind of tell myself, hey, I'd almost need a miracle in some sense of it to win a championship. And this was kind of one of those rebuilds, but we obviously are going to be getting it done. I'm honestly shocked. We're on the verge of sweeping the Luka Doncic-led Miami Heat out of their own building here and getting a championship here to wrap up our third and final season. I mean, just a shocker, right? When you look at the way this video kind of started and the talent and the assets we had, it wasn't a lot to work with. And slowly but surely, of course, everything kind of came together, and I'm happy about it. So Tyler Hero going up against his old team right here. Maybe a little personal for him, I guess. I don't know. Luka is obviously incredible. I cannot ever picture Luka in another uniform, so it's very weird to see him in a Heat jersey, but let's just kind of ride this one out. I mean, I did not think it was going to go this well. That's my bad. And we're going to be getting the championship, so I'm surprised. I mean, I guess talking about the Clippers a little bit in real life heading into the 24-25 campaign, again, I've said it in the intro. I've said it multiple times on Twitter. I absolutely hate the way they went about that sucks. This offseason, right? I think when you're in this situation they are in, obviously Paul George had pretty much all of the bargaining power, and they decided that they did not want to pay him that 4th year, and it's going to probably end up being a mistake. Look, I'm not saying Paul George is going to be worth that kind of money in 3 to 4 years, because he's not. Almost nobody is at that age when they get those kind of contracts, but if you wanted any shot of being remotely competitive in the West, I think you had to do that. And oh, that's bad. And the biggest thing for me is I would understand the move a lot more if they had their draft picks, but they don't. I mean, they gave up those draft picks in part for Paul fucking George. So, like, that's just the part that confused me. It's like they're basically just giving assets away. Maybe Steve Ballmer had just had enough of basically just writing guys blank checks and saying, hey, let's just continue to not, do as well as we should in the playoffs and continue to, not even make Western Conference Finals. I know they made one, but, like, this is just a situation that there really wasn't a way for Los Angeles to win. I mean, they either lose now really badly or they're going to lose really badly in like 2 to 3 years when Paul George is not worth nearly that kind of money. So it sucks. It is what it is. And I feel bad for Clippers fans. I really do. I mean, I know you guys are probably excited about the new arena coming and all that fun stuff, but I would not be one to bank on Kawhi's health this year. And outside of Kawhi, there is not a lot to look forward to on this team. So I'm sure all the teams that have the Clippers draft picks in the future, I know the Sixers have a few from the James Harden deal. Of course, the Thunder have the vast majority of the ones that the Clippers don't actually own. So they're probably also super happy. But looking back, 4 or 5 years to that offseason that obviously landed them Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I do not think that the Clippers make that trade anymore. So that's it for now. We're going to be winning a championship here. Always love when things come together like this, even if we were not expecting them, and they still give Finals MVP to Luka Doncic. I understand if it's like a grueling 7-game series, not that it's remotely realistic because it never happens in real life, but if you get swept, I don't give a shit if you average 80 a game. You shouldn't win Finals MVP. Okay, that is it. Again, on paper, it doesn't really look like anything special. Like, it looks like a good team, obviously, but just a weird video that I'm surprised and pleasantly surprised at that came together the way it did. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Clippers fans, you are probably going to have a few painful years coming up. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think it's going to be fun looking into your future, but I hope it all works out for you. So that's it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.